Gabby, I'm going to make you talk about Arsenal in a moment, but we won't start with you. We'll give you a little bit of time to prepare for that. We're going to start with you, Kwaku, and talk about Everton, because this was a massive result for them, and they really needed it, didn't they?
It was a huge result for Everton and a huge result for Rafa Benitez, who's been under pressure. They had started the season on fire, and the last, I'd probably say, half dozen games, it's been pretty abject and poor from Everton. And I think the word of the night to take away for Everton is perseverance. There's perseverance from the fans amidst the planned walkout at 27th minute. That it was only a minority of fans that actually headed for the exit. There was perseverance from Richarlison after he saw 2 goals ruled out. It was the third goal that finally counted. And perseverance from the team overall with that last-minute winner from Demarai Gray. So that's a huge result for Everton. We know what happened at board level with Marcel Brands being relieved of his duty on the weekend. And hopefully this is a result that can help them kick on and go forward in the future.
Gabby, even as an Arsenal fan, I'm sure you could appreciate the brilliance of that last-minute winner. How did you feel at the end of the game? It's 2 defeats in a row now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as Arsenal fans, we're all deflated. We looked at it, the performance wasn't great, but the sign of a good team is to grind out these sort of results and to try and come back from the game against Manchester United, where we felt we played okay and we ended up losing. But on this occasion, it just seemed like we didn't really quite click as a team. And there was just a lot going on along with the team as well, with some dubious substitutions, which a lot of fans weren't happy about. And we felt like we gave the game away at the end of the day. It just didn't seem to turn up. And it's just a time where Arteta seems to have the fans on side right now. And it's just that time to start kicking on. But at this moment in time, it's just we're not quite breaking into that top 4 just as we should.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Gabby, because every time there's a bit of a sign of improvement, a bit of sign of consistency, Arsenal then seem to take a step back. Where do you feel they are at the moment?
I don't know, because we have a lot of belief in Arteta right now. We were on a very good run, but every time we come up against these tricky games, these tricky ties, we just don't really seem to get over the line. And that's just the problem at the minute. The inconsistency is just so big at Arsenal right now.
Kwaku, what do you think it was that changed in this game for Everton? Because they were on such a bad run of form. They started the season very well, and then without a win in 8 games, and they come up against an Arsenal side who have shown big signs of improvement recently as well, despite the sort of most recent results. What do you think actually changed for Everton? Because it just seemed like something clicked in this game that hasn't been for the last couple of months, really.
Yeah, so the first half, there was much of a lull throughout the first half. But at Everton and at Goodison, especially in a nighttime game, you know that if you get the fans involved, Jamie Carragher touched on it in Monday Night Football, it's a tight stadium and the fans are very, very close to the pitch. And when you just show a bit of perseverance, like I touched on, the fans will get involved. And we saw that in the back end of the first half. Unfortunately, Richarlison's goal was ruled out for offside, and Arsenal did go ahead through Odegaard. But the players showed some determination, showed some willing, and I feel the fans fed off of that. And like I said, the fans could have left in the 27th minute. There was plans for a majority walkout, but a lot of them stayed. And in the second half, just Everton just put their foot on the pedal and showed that they actually wanted to fight. And when you get the fans on board at Goodison Park in the nighttime game, then good things can happen. And we saw that through the chances they created and the goals that they scored. So I feel like the fans being on board for Everton really helps that. And if they look to succeed going forward, then the fans will need to be on board long term.
And Gabby, what did you make of Arsenal's selection last night? The fact that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, club captain, was only on the bench. Gary Neville said this could be a problem moving forward. Eddie Nketiah came on before he did. So, were you surprised?
Yeah, very surprised, especially with the news of Nketiah rejecting a contract. That makes it even more, more of a problem at the club. And I think it will get a little bit maybe toxic if you want to mention that word, because Aubameyang obviously is a big player. He hasn't been performing to the best of his ability, but for a player to come on before him, even you look at Pepe on the bench was another option, but it just didn't really sit right with a lot of the fans and all the comments that I've seen. So it will probably cause a problem, but at this moment in time, we just got to wait and see. And the way things are going, with two defeats now and a bounce, again, it's going to be a big talking point.
Just on that point, Gabby, you said it could get toxic. Do you think it's time for them to sell Aubameyang? January transfer window coming up.
I mean, obviously we know when he hits form, he is a top player. But at this moment in time, it's just not quite clicking. And there's a lot of things maybe outside of football as well that isn't really going to plan. You know, on social media the other day when Cristiano Ronaldo made a post on Instagram, Aubameyang liked the post. So it's not a thing you want to see your captain doing. And that made the rounds on Instagram. So I don't think it's going to be a nice situation at the moment. And the only way we can improve that is by getting results on the pitch. Then the talking points will be stay on the pitch and not off the pitch.
Yeah.
Kwaku, we'll talk about the offsides in a moment, but something VAR didn't intervene in was the Godfrey incident with Tommy Yasu. What did you make of it? Gabby, we'll get your opinion in a minute because what's your Twitter handle? Professional 2-foot Lunder. So we'll go with you in a second. Kwaku, if you go first.
So I think Ben Godfrey's a very, very lucky boy. He looked like he knew what he was doing. He left one on Tomiyasu. I feel like a lot of these incidents, it's dependent on the reaction of the player. And although Tomiyasu was in pain, he didn't make a meal of it. And when VAR went to look at it, I don't know how they didn't see the intent there. So I feel like Godfrey was very, very lucky boy to stay on the pitch. And that could have changed the game. I know that Arsenal will probably look at that, and Arteta didn't want to make an excuse for it. But there's no dispute that Godfrey should have been sent off for that challenge with Tomiyasu.
Yeah, Carragher and Neville seemed to suggest that he knew exactly what he was doing, Gabby. From an ex-professional point of view, not suggesting that you would have ever done this in your career before, do you think that he perhaps did know what he was doing?
Yeah, I think it's clear, especially having played the game. You know, you can see he knew exactly what he was doing, and it was very surprising to me that it wasn't picked up and that he wasn't sent off. You know, I think the majority of people watching can see that he knew exactly what he was doing, and he got away with one, and that could have been, again, as Kwaku said, a big talking point.
Okay, I guess the point is, Gabby, that there's no way of actually detecting intent on the VAR or for a referee. You know, that's only Ben Godfrey knows that. And so, for all we know, it could be a genuine mistake. There is that possibility.
No, there is that possibility, but I think the referee has enough help nowadays and just to make the right judgment. And if he hasn't got the right judgment, there's people alongside him who can help him make that judgment. And I think by the majority and by looking at what everyone else has seen and what we think, I would say there's a good chance that he should have been sent off.
OK, one thing, VAR did intervene from twice, and Richarlison felt pretty hard done by, didn't he? We saw him with his hat-trick ball on Instagram because he felt he scored 3 goals, only 1 given on the night. Kwaku, what did you make of it? I thought we were using thicker lines this season. There's a few frustrated Everton fans, including Richarlison.
Thick lines, thin lines. I just don't really know how we judge this anymore. I think the first goal that was ruled out, I can understand it. The second one, I just don't really get. I thought that the second one and then obviously the last one, he checked his run as a result of the first 2 being ruled out, which might be beneficial for strikers going forward. If this is going to be the case and like decisions are going to be that tight, then maybe strikers do need to check their runs so the goals will be counted. But I feel like the second one should have definitely been given. I think there needs to be clarification in terms of what constitutes as offside, because in my opinion, if there's a part of your body that you can't score with that's offside, then that shouldn't make a difference. We want to see more goals. Football's about goals, and that's what the fans come to see. And if we're getting goals ruled out for offside for marginal decisions, I remember playing football when I was younger, or watching football when I was younger, and it was like the advantage would go to the attacker. And in these incidents, I don't believe the advantage went to the attacker, and I think they should, because we come there to watch goals.
Yeah. Now, Gary, the big question really, as we chat now, Arsenal 7th in the league, a point behind United, 2 points behind Tottenham, who have a game in hand, and 4 points off the top 4. Where do Arsenal finish this season?
I would like to say can still push for the top 4, but it's difficult. It's just about getting that consistency, and that consistency, I thought, we started getting under Arteta, but now it just seems that we have to get out of this little mini two-game defeat going all together. So I think at this moment in time, it's just about staying with the pack and seeing where it takes us. But really and truly, top 4 should be the aim. And if we fall a little bit short, maybe the top 6.
And Kwaku, Everton going forward, can that goal, that winner, the manner of the victory, be used as a springboard? Where do you see them going now?
Yeah, I feel like this can be a springboard for Everton. There needs to be an alignment in terms of thinking from the board down to Rafa Benitez, down to the player, because I feel like they're a very, very dysfunctional club at the moment, and we saw that yesterday play out in the first half before Everton made their comeback. So this can definitely be a springboard. Rafa Benitez is a world-class manager. We've seen him do a lot with minimal resources at other clubs. So there's no reason why they should cut short his tenure. We saw the result. We saw the players still fighting for him last night. And this Everton team, although they may lack some depth, they have got the players that do want to play for Rafa. They have got players to come back from injury as well, in Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who was their top scorer last season. So there are the bones of a good squad here. The manager's a world-class manager. So if they can align in their thinking going forward and maybe bring in a couple of players in January, there's no reason why Everton can't be shooting for a top 10 finish this season.